Werewolf Girl, a Wolf Girl Diary, adventure stories for kids, written by Jeff Child, narrated by John H. Feskins. Introduction. Viola is a girl in a small town who has a strange way of thinking. Not only that, but she notices a lot of strange things are happening when a new boy comes to town, a boy she is sincerely interested in. As their relationship evolves and objects are disappearing from what seem to be random places at first, she discovers something about him, as well as about her own identity. Listen to the diary of a girl who loves wolves, Viola, and who found a wolf skin that changed her life completely. Chapter 1. I Loved Wolves. Although my name is Viola, I don't have my hair in that color. No, I like the brown color of my hair. It suits me. And because I like it so much, I let it grow very long, having it stretch all the way to my lower back. It's a lot of upkeep, but I enjoy combing and brushing it every morning, looking in the mirror and feeling a little vain. I love going outdoors. We live on the border of a huge pine forest, and I often retreat and allow myself to sniff up the fresh air. Have you ever smelled fresh pine trees? It's the best thing in the entire world. I also love the wildlife. I think it's interesting to learn more about foxes, wolves, or bears. The predators intrigue me the most. Their constant drive to chase after others or improve their lifestyle by hunting down small animals is very fascinating. I don't go to school anymore. I am 18, which in this town is pretty old for a girl not to be married. You see, with the medieval practices we had, it was more normal to marry younger. Why didn't I get married yet, you ask? Oh, just because I wanted the right one. In a town as small as this, you only have a limited number of choices. After that, you either leave or stay single. And I stayed single, living by myself 3 streets away from my parents. I have to admit I turned down a couple of guys who asked for my hand in marriage. Okay, 3. I turned down 3 of them. Okay, 4, 5. Fine, I turned down 6 of them. Guilty. Imagine me raising my hand. Let's just say that one was a weirdo, the other was arrogant, another thought he owned me, one was a pushover, and the others were just not my type. I was looking for someone a bit more, how do I say it, reliable, handsome, motivated? I don't know. Anyway, I am getting ahead of myself. I will move along with my story. Then you will discover how all these things relate to what really happened in this little town. It all started with that day I went to the forest. The snow had melted, and all that there was left were some puddles and dripping branches. The pine smell had come back, and I loved it. I walked around for about a half hour, looking for seasonal fruits or berries, when I saw something on the ground. What was that? I asked myself. I moved closer and bent over. It was an animal skin or something. It was gray. I picked it up and looked at it. It looked like a wolf skin. Weird. I put my hand inside of it and noticed it was pretty dry. It felt fluffy and soft on the outside, and it looked beautiful. I didn't know where it came from, but I didn't care either. It was mine now. Happy with my newfound item, I walked around some more and returned home. At home, I put the skin in front of the fireplace just to let it dry a little more and make sure there wouldn't be any mold or bad bacteria inside. I looked at it again. I loved it. That night I had a dream. I dreamt that I was a wolf myself. I was running along with the pack the villagers had seen in previous years. We were attacking and pillaging the village homes. I didn't feel guilty about it. I was just helping the pack to survive. Hey, they had to eat too, didn't they? So I felt a little connected to these beautiful animals in the first place. Would it be fun to be a wolf? It made me wonder. Little did I know about what would happen the next day. Chapter 2. Boyfriend. He was new in town, so maybe that's why a few other girls jumped on him. New meat! Ha ha ha! No, just kidding. I am not that ferocious. But I did have to admit he was good looking. In fact, I couldn't resist staring at him sometimes. He talked to people with confidence and made sure everyone felt good about themselves by complimenting them constantly. He did the same with me. I think that was the reason why I found him so charming too. He didn't hold back on praising others, and he seemed like a decent boy. He worked as a blacksmith, a profession that had been neglected for a while in this town, so there was enough to do for him. He was 19, so only a year older, and I was going to find out more about this mysterious man who was almost too good to be true. I put on my new wolf skin and left my house. "Abby, what are you doing here?" I asked one of my friends when I saw her walking into the same direction as I was. "I could ask you the same thing," she said. "Nowhere in particular," I lied. "Well," she said, "then you won't mind if I go see the new guy in town." "There's a new guy in town?" I asked sheepishly. "Oh, come on, don't tell me you haven't heard of him yet. He's got muscles because he is a blacksmith. At least that's what I heard, and they say he is quite the looker." "How convenient, huh? You're still single too, aren't you? Maybe I will just join you and find out what he's like." She didn't like that idea. I could tell. It meant competition. But she didn't want me to see right through her either, so she pretended to not care about whether I would come along or not. "Fine, do what you want," she said. It was an awkward moment, but we didn't have to walk far to reach the blacksmith's shop. When we arrived, we saw how open everything was, and how well the new guy had already been organizing everything. "Hi," Abby and I said. "Hello there, ladies. To what do I owe the privilege of your company?" he asked. "We were just coming by to welcome you to your new hometown," I said. "How are you liking it here so far?" "It's not bad. I have seen quite a few people come by this morning, and I'm trying to memorize everyone's names. How about yourself?" "Oh, we love it here," Abby said, "especially now that you're here." She was moving way too fast on this guy, but he seemed to think it was funny. He smiled and asked me the same question again. "It's small," I said, "but if you're creative, you can find things to do. And then there's always the forest. It's lovely over there. By the way, my name is Viola, and this is my friend Abby." "Lupus," the guy said. "My name is Lupus." "That sounds nice," I admitted. "It's like a wolf. How did you get that name?" "There were lots of wolves in town, and one day my dad told me that the one thing that makes the leader stand out from the rest is his intelligence. Lupus literally means intelligent, so hopefully I didn't let him down." "Ha ha ha ha!" Abby laughed. It actually wasn't that funny, but oh well. "Well, see you later, Lupus," I said. "I live in the greenish-brown house on the other side of town. Be sure to come by sometime." Abby stayed a little longer. I liked the guy, but I didn't want to be overbearing, if you know what I mean. I let him know where he could find me, and I swung by more often in the weeks after that. In the third week after he arrived, we got a lot closer to each other. We just talked and talked almost every day, and our friendship became stronger as time elapsed. I still remember the first day he kissed me. It was a spring day. It was hot outside, but there was a nice breeze. We had talked about the people in the village, his blacksmith profession, some of his relatives, and the pros and cons about living in a tiny town. He asked me about the wolfskin. "Oh, that," I said. "I just found it in the forest. I don't know why. Some hunter must have left it there or something." "It looks great on you," he said. It's totally you, you know?" I blushed. "Thanks," I said. "Do you like wolves?" He chuckled. "Who likes wolves?" he asked. "They just attack the villagers and steal your stuff." "I don't know," I said. "They have something magical to them, though, with all that fur and their keen senses." "Well, if you put it that way, then yes. I love wolves. I love the way they look, but I wouldn't want to come close to them. I knew a werewolf in my hometown. That was quite the story. Don't get too close. However, you are someone I would love to come close to." He pulled me towards him, and I let him. It all happened so fast, but I was ready. I was falling for this charming guy, Lupus. He had something strange about him, as if he hadn't told me everything about his past yet. I found it scary yet exciting. He leaned over and came closer. Then I took initiative and kissed him. From that moment, I knew I didn't want to wait any longer for another one to come along. I was ready to marry this guy, even though it was still early. So of course I didn't tell him that, but I secretly kept it in the back of my mind. After all, he was the guy. He was supposed to ask me to marry him. But I knew that I would say yes when the time would come. He took his time, though. He didn't want to rush into anything, and I was quite happy with that. From that time forth, we went to the forest more often, ate at my family's house, and he even taught me some blacksmith crafts. We dated often, despite the limited amount of things to do in town. We ran in the hills, picked flowers, swam in lakes, and climbed trees. Everything nature had to offer was at our fingertips. All spring and summer long, we had the greatest time of our lives. But then the winter came. Things would become a little scarier around here. Chapter 3. Theft. It was full moon. The wind was cold as ice. Snow had appeared again, and tracks were quickly covered up by the falling snow. The weather was dreadful, the air was thin, and each villager could see his or her breath forming a fluffy cloud in front of them wherever they went. The white snow contrasted the thick black sky, reversing the brightness in the summer and painting a typical scene for a horrific event to occur. Outside, I met up with Lupus, who looked a little worried. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Business was bad this week," he said. "One of the villagers had me work on a shovel for 3 days, but refuses to pay up. He says I didn't do a good enough job, but I know that there is no other way to fix it." "Who was it?" "I think his name was Darius. Do you know him?" "Yes, I do. He's always been a jerk. I don't know what the deal is, but he is never nice to people. Don't take it personal." "I'm not. I just wished I wouldn't have spent all that time on this particular item when I could have been doing other things." I laughed a little. "What other things are you working on?" I asked. "I've been making some swords and shields, collector's items for the rich. I think it will be a big business if I go abroad and sell them in the markets. At home, we were always hearing about the big demand for those things." "You and your ambition," I said. "I love it. Have you always worked so hard?" "Of course, it's part of life. Besides, it's not just for the money. If you work hard, you will end up becoming a better person. That's what my father taught me. Do you think that's true?" "If he was referring to you, then yes," I said. Then he kissed me and said goodbye, saying that he still had a lot of work to do. "Don't you want to snuggle up together in front of the fireplace?" I asked. "No, thank you. Sorry, but not this time. I am extremely busy. If I don't work hard this evening, I won't have enough to eat for the next few days." I felt for Lupus. He didn't deserve this treatment, but I hoped he would find a way. If not, I could always ask my parents to give him some food, or have him borrow some. I went home a little disappointed. Later that evening, I was inside my hut. Since it was freezing outside, I had gathered all the wood I could find, with the help of my boyfriend. A large pile of logs was stacked against the side wall of my cabin, and to make it even warmer, I had put the wolf skin on my body. The fireplace was warm, but on the front, so I made sure the wolf skin covered my back. There I was, staring at the flames, seated on a rug and wondering what the future would bring. I got sleepy, and it didn't take long before I was sound asleep, leaning against the wall, with the wolf skin covering my eyes. I don't know how long I was out, but I do know that I woke up with a jolt because of a noise. The cabin walls in the village homes don't allow the villagers to have a lot of privacy. I've heard dogs bark, babies cry, guys snore, and other disrupting sounds I couldn't quite put my finger on. But this time, it was unlike something I had ever heard before. "Ah!" one of the women shrieked. I ran outside as fast as I could. I could feel the tension. The whole village was running back and forth in the snow, trying to figure out what the panic was all about. I saw my parents and some other familiar faces. "What's going on?" I asked. "Someone has been robbed," a man answered. "All his storage food is missing. We are coming together for a grand council." I knew the council wouldn't be very grand since the village was small anyway, but I knew what they meant. It was only an hour later, late in the evening, that they assembled the entire village, with the exception of mothers staying with their small children, to be gathered into the main village hall. I was curious what was going to happen because I knew nothing about it except for what that guy had told me. I entered the building and saw the 50 people who were able to make it that night. Among them was my boyfriend, Lupus. I said hi and asked my parents if they wouldn't mind me sitting next to him. They nodded and I went to my guy, after which I leaned my head on his shoulder. "I'm tired," I said while I yawned. "Me too. Shh, they're starting." And the meeting began. Chapter 4. Suspect. "Ladies and gentlemen," the chief villager, whose name was Calvin, began, "we are here tonight because a gross crime has been committed, and as a common people we need to figure out who did it and have him or her face the consequences. Will the victim please arise?" Darius stood up. "I have been robbed," he said. "I don't know who it is, but I saw him." "Could you please explain yourself?" the chief villager asked. "How is it that you saw the perpetrator but didn't recognize him?" "Because he was a wolf," Darius said. Everybody was surprised and in shock. Some of them held their breath. Others got big eyes and looked at Darius in fear. "A wolf?" Calvin asked. "How do you suppose a wolf can steal, Darius? Wolves don't even know where to look for your things." "I don't believe it was a real wolf," Darius said. "It was a werewolf. I have never seen one like it before. It had green eyes, black fur, and it was at least 3 times bigger than I am." "Sounds like a big monster," Calvin admitted. "Yes, and before it left the house it said something to me. I couldn't understand it very well since it sounded like a ruthless animal, but I think it was something like, 'Next time, pay up.'" "Interesting. What do you suggest we do about it?" Calvin asked. "I don't know," Darius said. "I tried to follow the footprints, but they got all mixed up with the other villagers' footprints, and some of them disappeared in the snow. Besides, after a while they weren't even there anymore, having turned into human footprints going into all different directions." "Sounds useless then. But let's get back to what the werewolf was saying. What do you think it was referring to when it said, 'Next time, pay up'?" "I haven't paid a few people for their services. It could be one of them." "Ridiculous!" one of the villagers shouted as he stood up. "What are you accusing me of? You've known me for years. Just because you happened to get robbed after neglecting to pay me doesn't mean I am a werewolf." "Calm down," Calvin said. "We haven't accused you of anything yet, but since you're so defensive about it, would you care to explain what Darius still owes you?" "He owes me 5 pieces of gold, that's what." Calvin turned to Darius and asked him for an explanation. "I'm sorry," Darius admitted. "I will pay you first thing in the morning." "Who else are you still indebted to?" Calvin asked. "That kid," he suddenly shouted. "That guy, Lupus. He is new in town. How convenient to have a werewolf just after he showed up. I owed him money for a tool he fixed. He must be the werewolf." "How dare you?" I said as I stood up. "Just because you don't know anything about him doesn't mean you can accuse him of being a beast." "He has motive," Darius said. "So how do you know your little boyfriend over there isn't a giant werewolf? You don't." "Lupus," Calvin said, "what do you have to say in your defense?" "I think that whoever took it probably stashed it away somewhere. You're welcome to search my place. I don't have your food." "Good answer, Lupus. Let's go take a look at your place after the meeting." "Fine," he said. Chapter 5. The Chase. They discovered nothing, and I was relieved. I didn't want my handsome Lupus getting locked up for being a werewolf. That would be ridiculous. I just knew he would never do something like that, even though people who turn into werewolves do things they would otherwise never do. It made me wonder, what if the werewolf was real? Darius wasn't making it up, was he? But then, who could have taken the food? We had never had a werewolf in town before. This was something completely new, which was why it scared the villagers even more. I had heard about werewolves in other towns, distant rumors of foreign lands and such. They said they only appear when it's full moon, so during the next full moon I would be waiting to snatch this wolf. A month later, we were still dating, Lupus and I, and the weather had remained the same, as well as the mystery of who could have been the werewolf. But the full moon was almost there, and all the villagers were anxious. "What do you think will happen?" I asked Lupus. "I don't know, but if the werewolf strikes again, I will be waiting," he said. "It will be tonight. Can you keep me company?" "Of course," he said. "I will protect you." I gave him a hug. That night, I was a little nervous, but I knew I would be safe in his arms. We met up at my place, preparing the same cozy fireplace for a night of falling asleep in each other's arms. I was looking forward to it, but when he came inside, I quickly noticed how tired he was from getting up early and working all day. We only talked for a few minutes, after which he fell asleep on the rug on the floor. I lay next to him and conked out after a considerable amount of time as well, covering myself up with the wolfskin. After a few hours, I woke up. I opened my eyes and discovered that my boyfriend had left me. What was going on here? I thought he would sleep next to me. This didn't make any sense. Was he the werewolf? No, not possible. He was so sweet and kind and... I stood up and looked around me. Apparently he had left my cabin. I quenched the fire and walked out the door. Then I saw a stain on my dress. Yuck, was that tomato sauce or was it blood? I couldn't see the difference, so I licked it. Yep, it was tomato sauce. Strange, where did that come from? It was dark, but the pale moonlight reflected on the snow, and I could see as far as in the daytime. I knew it probably wasn't the wisest thing to do under the full moon, since the villagers still hadn't caught the werewolf, but I snuck through town to Lupus's house. There he was. Was that Lupus, or was that someone else? Hey, was he trying to break into his back door? "You, stop it right there!" I shouted. He looked at me and started running. I couldn't see his face. It was like a shade, a figure that quickly ran in despair. It had to be the werewolf, although it didn't look like a wolf from that distance. Maybe it was the one who had turned into a werewolf before. There was only one way to know for sure. Run after him! I ran towards Lupus's house and yelled, "Lupus!" Nobody home, not even when I jumped inside for a few seconds. Odd, maybe it was Lupus after all. Either way, I continued running after the suspicious shade. I was slowly gaining on him. I thought he probably didn't think I was pursuing him anymore, because I saw him standing in the forest behind a tree. I ran and thud! I bumped into the fleeing fugitive. Chapter 6. True Identity. "Lupus?" I asked. "What are you doing here?" "I woke up and noticed that you were gone, so I went through every street trying to find you. Eventually, I looked at my place, but you weren't there. Then you yelled, but I thought you were someone else, so I ran into the forest. Does that make sense?" "Not at all. Why are you saying I was gone? I was at my place the whole time until I started looking for you." No, you weren't. I woke up and you were gone. That's exactly how it happened. By the way, did you see all that food that was piled up in my home? Where did it come from?" "I have no idea," I said. "Yes, I saw it, but hold on a minute. When I woke up, you were gone." "What? This is getting stranger by the minute. How come we missed each other? One of us left first." "Well, it sure wasn't me," I said, being totally convinced of my innocence. Then he looked at my dress. "Viola," he started, "is that from the tomato sauce in my house? Why is there tomato sauce on your dress?" I looked down as if I hadn't seen it before. "I don't know," I said with big eyes, while I shrugged. "No," he said after a while, stepping back and covering his mouth. "It can't be." He looked afraid. "What are you saying, Lupus?" You, he said. "You are the werewolf?" "What? Don't be ridiculous. How could I be the werewolf?" As I said it, it all came back to me. I looked at the wolfskin I had picked up. I felt the tremendous power flowing through it. And even though I wasn't a wolf anymore, I could still feel it, seeing that it was still full moon and all. I took the skin off and looked at it. As soon as I looked into the eyes of the wolf's head, a sudden rush of memories went through my mind. I remembered everything. The night I became a wolf to steal Darius's food and give it to Lupus, the place I hid it from the townspeople, and the moment a few hours ago, just now, that I snuck out as a wolf, leaving him there to sleep on the rug without him noticing me, and taking the stash to his house. I looked at the tomato sauce on my dress and remembered how I spilled the sauce on me when I was hauling the food to Lupus's storage room. "Wait," I said. "I can explain. I was only trying to help, don't you see? I didn't even remember doing all that until now. You have to believe me." "I don't know what to believe anymore," he said, after which he looked me in the eyes and ran off. I watched him being afraid of me, hurrying back to his safe home away from me. It made me sad. Our trust was gone. He suspected me of being the monster they were looking for, and when I thought about it, he was even right. I was the werewolf. I had been the wolf all that time, and I hadn't even realized it, because every time, after a night of plundering and stealing, I had woken up on my comfortable rug in front of the fireplace, with my clothes back on for some mysterious reason. I walked back and hoped he wouldn't tell the other villagers. My subconscious mind had tried to help him, since he wasn't earning enough. I looked at the village. Everyone was still asleep. I don't think he warned anyone else, but I was hurt. I was horrified that I was capable of robbing another in this monstrous form. What was I going to do? Chapter 7. Solving the Issue. I didn't see Lupus for another week. He stayed away from me, that was for sure. I even walked by his shop a few times, but he would always just look at me and then keep banging on a piece of steel or something. I didn't blame him in a way, but I was disappointed to say the least that our relationship had taken a step backwards like this. I felt lonely and unhappy. The next day, however, someone came to me, someone I had never seen in town before. He walked up to me with his wife and introduced himself. "Are you Viola?" he asked. "That depends on who is asking," I said. "I am Lupus's father, and this is his mother. We heard a lot of good things about you." "Oh, yeah?" Lupus's father continued. "We heard how you tried to help our son with his food storage. It was very brave of you to do it that way, but what I am wondering is, can I have that wolf skin back that I lost at the forest?" My mouth fell open. Lupus's dad was the one who lost this mysterious wolf skin? Was his father a werewolf? Wow, I didn't expect that. Of course," I said. "I liked it. It kept me warm all winter. And there are a lot of other things you can do with it, too." "I know," the dad said. "But before this whole village starts accusing you of the same things as they accused me of back in my hometown, how about you just hand it over? That way you can stay out of trouble, and I will have what was rightfully mine." "And don't worry about the skin, dear," Lupus's mother added. "We will give you another one with, less eccentric abilities." "Sounds like a good deal to me," I said. I went back home to get it and noticed Lupus was standing there. "I just met your parents," I said. "I know," he answered. "They wanted the wolf skin back, didn't they?" "Yes, I didn't realize it belonged to your dad." "Well, either way, you can give them this one," he said, handing me the magical wolf skin I had found. "And this one is for you," he said as he gave me another wolf skin. "Thanks," I said. "Oh, Viola," he said, stopping me from turning around. "There's something inside the new wolf skin I gave you." "Okay, I'll look at it later." Could you look at it now?" he asked shyly. I don't know what this guy was up to, but he sparked my curiosity. I agreed to humor him and reached inside the wolf skin's fur. It was an object, hard and probably made of metal. I pulled it out and looked at it. "What is this?" I asked. But when I looked at him, I saw him kneeling down on one knee. He grabbed my hand and proposed. And guess what? I said yes. Nobody ever bothered looking for the werewolf again, because during the next few full moons, no one spotted it. It would be pointless anyway, since the wolf skin I now had wasn't magical or special in any sense. Well, actually, it was special, in the sense that it was the place I found my engagement ring. That was special enough to me. I never got rid of it. and each winter we sat in front of the fireplace and snuggled up under the warm wolfskin Lupus had given me. The end. This has been Werewolf Girl, a Wolf Girl diary, adventure stories for kids. Written by Jeff Child. Narrated by John H. Feskins. Copyright 2017 by Jeff Child. Production copyright 2017 by Jeff Child.